Please be seated. Good afternoon. It's truly a great day. Hopefully it'll be cool enough in here for us and we keep you awake. So welcome to the 2026 graduation ceremony for the School of Marine and Atmospheric Sciences. Hi, I'm Paul Shepson, Dean of the school. SOMAS graduates, you did it! Good. Nicely done. So you stayed up late, you worked hard, and learned that you could do difficult things and survive, and we are so proud of you and happy for you. I understand the concept of commencement. I get it. It's not an end, but a beginning. But I don't know, why not let yourself take a minute, think back at what seems like just yesterday when you first arrived here and all that you have accomplished, and congratulate yourself. Wallow in it a bit. It's okay, you deserve it. So, Mom and Dad, are you proud? It's okay to cry. It was likely years of hard work and sacrifice for you too, right? So thank you, Mom and Dad. Good work. But not just Mom and Dad. Let's take this opportunity to acknowledge other relatives, siblings, grandparents, family, and friends who have assisted you along the way. Many people have sacrificed for you. They worried about you. You wanted them to do that, right? They did that for you and gave you their unconditional love. So many thanks to them. Let us also thank the professors who have taught you and counseled you and advised you, and the staff who have taught you and assisted you and advised you along the way. So congratulations and thank you to all those in SOMAS who have helped you reach this wonderful goal. I note that one of the things that is important to Stony Brook is our role in providing opportunities to our students through their educational experiences to explore previously unknown, unheard of potential career paths, and in some cases helping them to define and create their own careers, contributing to social mobility for Seawolf grads. To recognize all those who are forging new paths within your families, can I ask those of you graduates who are a first-generation college graduate to please stand up and be recognized? Wow. Thank you, David Taylor. So cool, so good, so important. Thank you. So I want to tell you my thoughts about how important you are. We live in a time in this country when some people are asking questions like, what is the value of higher education? Well, I've been thinking about this, and even though there has been lots of good quantitative information for decades to answer this question, I want to answer more personally. I know what the value is. You, You are the value. You are awesome. You are the leaders of the future, and we sure all know that we need good leaders in the world. So we're all doing a lot of thinking these days about our value and how we make sure that we make a difference. For true leaders like you graduates out there, they lead by example from their values and priorities and their actions. A good example to me is that in the past year, the people of Minnesota utilized or coined a new term called neighboring. It is about taking care of your neighbor, no matter who they are, as you would wish them to help you if you were in need. It can involve providing food or clothing or emotional support, any sort of help that involves caring for other people. We do have the power to make our own local environment better, no matter what is happening nationally and globally. And I think we're good at that in SOMAS. But for SOMAS, we know that we have many neighbors who are important to us, about whom we think and study and nurture and protect. To us in the SOMAS family, all the other species are our neighbors, who most often can't advocate for themselves and who mostly cannot always protect themselves. Our neighbors are people of all kinds, and they are also shorebirds and sea turtles and salmon and tuna and whales and polar bears and lemurs and penguins and albatross and bald eagles, to name a few. When we take care of the forests and the atmosphere and the ecosystems, we are taking care of these animals, our neighbors. And we know very well that in turn, they then take care of us. We have known about the importance of this for a long time. As an example, it was expressed by Mufasa, explaining to Simba when he said, "Everything you see exists together in delicate balance." You need to understand that balance and respect all the creatures from the crawling ant to the leaping antelope. Thinking about and acting in that respectful way, we lead by example. I am proud of that and of SOMAS and our students, so thank you. Not everybody quotes Mufasa, right? Okay, so back to the word commencement. It's a pretty good one. Today is the start or continuation of a new adventure. I like to think that every day is a new day, a new gift, and a new opportunity. You are not ending or beginning, you are on a path, the path to, well, you have no idea, right? You don't know where. But what I want to say is you don't necessarily need to know, but you should make it a great adventure. I want to tell you that I recently read a book I really enjoyed, and maybe many of you have as well. It's called Theo of Golden. Let me repeat it, Theo of Golden. It is a simple story about a man who wanted to show compassion and do nice things for no particular reason for other people in his community, making his local community better. I highly recommend this book for both the great story and the message. Making the world a better place, which can seem awesome and intimidating, can start right at home close to home. You can do amazing things close to home right now, and the world will follow in your footsteps. So, sure, you will also want to be able to feed and take care of yourself, but also to enjoy what you are doing and feel that it is important and useful. So make it one great life and make it extraordinary. You are all unique and marvelous expressions of the hopefulness of the future. You are all highly capable of doing great things, making the world a much better place, and doing things that others will someday look back at and think were highly inspired and brilliant. Aim for that. You can do it. To develop their creativity and wisdom to help you save the earth, it's one of the reasons you all came to SOMAS, right? I urge you to spend lots of time in it, all over it. Listen to and learn about what it is telling you. But you are not just a learner now, you have new responsibilities. You are now also a teacher. Teach others to do these things. Teach them to spend time with others, leading them into forests, through rivers, mountains, and in the ocean, and teach them what you know. Be like our friends and teachers like Carl Safina, Chris Paparo, David Taylor. Spend time interacting with and being in awe of Earth's creatures. They are a miracle. And you are one of them, and you are a miracle. Treat yourself and all others that way, with respect and dignity. Keep in mind the importance of the content of your character. And always to yourself and to each other, be kind. Excuse me. If nothing else, I want to leave you with one thought. You are powerful. You have the power to make the world a better place. Do it. Okay, so I actually have two thoughts. Second one is, you will always be a member of the SOMAS family, for now and forever. And thank you for that. So you won't have to face these challenges alone. We can continue to do great things together. So congratulations, class of 2026. Good. Good job. Okay, now it is my great honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Professor Bob Aller. Professor Aller is SUNY Distinguished Professor Robert C. Aller, who is a highly accomplished marine geochemist who focuses on biogeochemistry in the seafloor, sediment-water interactions, and the role of reverse weathering in marine element cycling. A fun fact, we should have fun facts here. A fun fact is Professor Aller was born in Suffolk County. Suffolk County, Massachusetts. Still, it's a fact, right? In Chelsea, but really it's basically, to me, on a map, it's Boston Harbor. So let's say that Bob was born in a coastal ecosystem, born into marine coastal processes. He then happened to move around between both West Coast coastal ecosystems and East Coast, finding out about the path for the future. So, more fun facts. Bob's middle initial, C, stands for Curwood, an ancient name from Scotland that means church in the wood, which sounds really lovely. A bit like his office in the middle of our lovely wooded South Campus. And perhaps this helps explain Bob's affection for it, as it too is in his blood. Professor Aller received a BA and BS in biology and geology and in chemistry from the University of Rochester, and he received an MPH and then a PhD from Yale in 1977. He spent some time on the faculty all the way to full professor at the University of Chicago before stepping up to Stony Brook in 1986, obviously. Right? So again, his research group studies marine biogeochemistry and marine animal sediment interactions. His scholarly outputs have certainly reached and impacted people all over the world who have cited his work more than 29,000 times. His most important award, of course, comes from his students, as he received the Outstanding Mentor Award in 2020. There can be no finer recognition than that one. Among his other honors, he was elected as a Fellow of the American Geophysical Union in 2003, and also received the ACS Geochemistry Division Medal in 2007. He has honorary degrees from a number of universities around the world, and he is appropriately adorned in recognition of several of them. Another distinction of Professor Aller is that he is a better speaker than I am. So without further ado from me, please join me in welcoming Professor Aller to the stage.
Well, thank you very much, Paul. I really appreciate that. That was over the top, I think. And like all good professors, I'm going to hit on some of the exact same points that you just heard. So it's repetition, and we know from our educational experiences that repetition can be good, although you may fall asleep as part of the result. So first, I'll join the chorus by saying, first, my sincere congratulations to the graduates achieving baccalaureate, master's, and PhD degrees, and to their proud families on this joyous occasion celebrating mission accomplished, at least to this point. We are also celebrating the success of your many teachers and community members, not just your family, but general community members who have supported you and selflessly encouraged you all along the way, from nursery school and kindergarten through high school and beyond. So I'd say congratulations to all of this on this major milestone in your lives. So I referred to mission accomplished to this point. So what happens now? You are probably feeling somewhat anxious about what might lie before you and about what will certainly be new responsibilities and an unknown mix of opportunities. And I can confidently assure you that you will have opportunities, some of your own making, and some created by others, and situations which you will need to recognize as such and take advantage of. You may also be feeling a bit discouraged by the sharp divisions in our country, a war underway, an apparently mean-spirited government, and the cloud of impending environmental doom posed by climate change. It is perhaps small comfort to know that the world looked pretty grim at a comparable time in my own life, my parents' lives, and multiple previous generations. In my case, the Vietnam War was raging, and as a reward for graduating, my student deferment ended, and I was classified 1A with a low draft number. Environmental pollution was rampant. The Cuyahoga River in Ohio had caught fire a few years before, and Rachel Carlson's book, Silent Spring, had dramatically demonstrated the many ways that we were poisoning ourselves and our remarkable living planet in the name of increased agricultural production and improved economy. I'm sure that each generation has felt overwhelmed by the challenges faced, but I believe that those challenges help us focus on what is most important, what must be done, and to give us purpose individually and collectively. For me, the specter of being conscripted into what I viewed as an unjustified war motivated me even more to seek an advanced degree and a career dedicated to science, education, and the study of our remarkable planet. Now, over 55 years later, I feel blessed for the wonderful privilege our society has given me to fight for and to at least partially achieve my youthful idealistic goals. I am also confident that our great country will bless you similarly if you embrace and seize the future. I want to emphasize to you at this point that the world is never quite as dark and totally out of control as it might seem, and that you, individually and collectively, can make a huge difference in determining future outcomes, something that Dean Shepson just emphasized. A burning river, indicative of general environmental degradation, human misery, including cancer and Parkinson's disease, my own father included, from toxin exposure, and dying ecosystems spurred major environmental protections and the banning of chemicals such as DDT from agricultural use, at least in the USA in the early 1970s. So we can recognize drastic problems and are capable of taking corrective measurements. Of course, it is human nature to slowly forget and to repeat the same mistakes again and again, like going into a roundabout without an end or an exit. It is clear that we are just smart enough to do things that get us into real trouble, and like a young boy jumping off a cliff into dark water below, not quite smart enough to anticipate possible negative outcomes of our actions. So in this context, let me talk about our school's theme, posted on our website, and your next big mission: build a better planet. I am not responsible for that call to arms, and in fact, when I first read it, I thought, if I were deeply religious, does that mean build a better planet than God? Can we really build a better planet? What are we saying? You have most certainly seen the spectacular pictures of Earth taken during the Apollo and Artemis lunar exploration missions, like you and me, roughly 60 years apart, and we're struck by how absolutely remarkable, unique, and beautiful our planet is. A blue orb embedded in lifeless, colorless space. Those blue oceans, that's sobering to say the least. You may not fully appreciate how truly fragile that beauty is. Those blue oceans filled with life average a mere 4 kilometers depth, a distance the younger among us, that's you all, could easily run in 20 to 30 minutes were it not for the crushing pressure of the water above you. 80% of the atmosphere protecting us from lifeless space and deadly radiation lies in a thin layer averaging about 10 kilometers thick near the planet's surface, a distance, again, corresponding to about 1 to 2 hours stroll were you not restrained by gravity, if you could just go straight up somehow. So you also might interpret the school's theme superficially as some sort of geoengineering challenge. For example, if you heard Jim Harrell's, he was from Colorado and is from Colorado State University, recent seminar at this year's Okubo Scholar presentation, you might think it would be possible to sprinkle some molecular glitter into the stratosphere and tune the energy balance of the Earth to counter yet another of our ongoing geoengineering efforts, the mining of 600 million years of carbon storage in rocks and the release of it into our atmosphere in less than 100 years. Screwing around and jumping off cliffs without much thought is in our fundamental nature. Fun, but with likely consequences. So it's important to realize that our impact on this planet is pervasive and goes far beyond climate change. We have been at it for thousands of years, removing forests from whole continents, annihilating other species, and removing natural protective structures such as dense oyster and coral reefs from entire coastlines. One of the fantastic things that I have been privileged through public support to experience in my career was studying biogeochemical processes at the deep ocean floor using the submersible Alvin in the East Equatorial Pacific. On my first dive, after sinking slowly for several hours to 4 kilometers depth, the allowed limit of non-military diving depth at that time, I peered through the tiny porthole from the sub, and in addition to a muddy seabed teeming with numerous animals, which I was there to study and study their effects on the seabed, I saw an empty Coca-Cola bottle with a 1950s style, size, and shape stuck in the mud. Like Kilroy, and you can Google after this, Kilroy was here, and find out what I'm referring to. Our species has been everywhere and left our signature on even the most remote areas. Another part of my research experience has been to study large river systems and their interaction with the oceans. These have included the Yangtze in China, the Amazon Guianas off Brazil, and the Fly-Parari River deltaic systems of Papua New Guinea. When we first studied the Yangtze in the early 1980s, it was the 4th largest river in the world. Since the subsequent building of the Three Gorges Dam and 50,000 additional dams since I first studied that river, its sediment delivery has been reduced by 70% from what it was just when I started my career. Similarly, the Amazon was essentially undammed in the 1980s when we began study of its delta and downstream coastal French Guiana, and now its drainage basin is increasingly deforested and river channels dammed with over 400 major dams built or planned. These represent continental scale changes in fluvial and coastal ocean dynamics and systems. The impacts are ongoing and largely unknown. There remains only one of the 7 major Asian rivers, the Irrawaddy Thanlwin in Myanmar, that has minimal damming. But large dams are planned, and they will be completed in a few years from now. We proposed studying its natural outfall in the Gulf of Martaban, but were stymied by a military takeover of the government and politics, another side of science we know well. The New Guinea systems, the Fly-Parari on the south coast and the Sepik River on the north, go there, it's absolutely fantastically beautiful, remain largely unaltered because the extreme tectonic activity in that region minimizes human construction. That is, dams are destroyed by earthquakes, which are common there. So during my lifetime, there have been massive anthropogenic changes to the Earth's system's hydrologic and biogeochemical cycles. Quite frankly, I consider altered climate the least of our worries. So, as I tell my students in classes, buckle your seatbelts as we head into the future. So, back to build a better planet and what that might mean. And then I'll hit on some of the same points that Dean Shepson hit on. We need to better understand and appreciate our relationship to the Earth system and recognize that although our technologies allow us to observe and admire Earth from afar, as though we were somehow set off and independent of it, we are very much part of this planet and deeply integrated into its functioning, not simply abstract observers. To truly understand that integration, I urge each of you to abandon your electronic interfaces, what I call the proto-Borg stage of humanity. So again, Google Borg and Star Trek, and you'll find out what I'm referring to, and experience the wonders of this beautiful planet firsthand, not through an iPhone or an artificial intelligence model. I believe as your fundamental knowledge of the Earth system grows, that you will dedicate your lives in whatever way you can, directly and indirectly, small and major, to ensuring that those wonders survive. That is, that we and our planet survive together. To build a better planet is to build your understanding and positive relationship with it. To paraphrase Bobby Vinton's 1969 hit song, again, Google Bobby Vinton 1969, to know her is to love her. In summary, this is a rite of passing for you, and you have much to celebrate, and I really hope you kind of go crazy after this. As you move on, we are handing off the baton to you, and with great hope that you will use your talents and your hard-earned skills to promote our common good and ensure a bright future for our world. Go Seawolves!
We would now like to introduce Dr. Brian Coley to begin the awarding of certificates in atmospheric science. J.C. Bejnot. Jack Hardiman. Ethan Huang. Stamatia Katsaros. Abby Konoski. Alexander Laporte. Samantha McKay. Edric Rosario. Jack Surace. We would now like to introduce Dr. Gordon Taylor to award the certificates in environmental studies. Diane Alarcon. Leslie Almanzar. Nicholas Attard. Kimberly Bagelto. Harrison Boyer. Nicholas Berzo. John Caulfield. Brandon Christiansen. Athena Clough. Sophia Creedon. Bella Filagrossi. Allison Hoang. Daniel Imperial. Chloe Kuhn. Lexi Lamoth Farewell. Hudson Lee. Faria Lauren. Anise Mata Santana. Dylan Radowski. Shania Reichman. Evelyn Trelfa. Michaela Giuliano. Ping-Shin Wang. Annabella Wiskovich. Tiffany Zhang. We will now award the certificates in marine sciences. Rihanna Apacibio. Akai Aponte. Chloe Arma. Juliana Brown. Randy Cabral. Rebecca Calagiuri. Maximilian Cronister. Danielle Correa. Benjamin Coles. Braden Donahue. Hannah Forcone. Samantha Gatuz. Samuel Gerard. Juliana Hart. William Zhang. Jared Joy. Madoka Kondo. Edward Lamparter. Jean Lin. Maria Loke. Jason Louisdor. Jason Liu. Anthony Maynor. Blair McGuire. Allison Mitchinson. Ailey Montenegro. Ailish Mullaney. Ella Musso. Braxton Peace. Renuka Ramcharan. Hannah Ryan. Vivian Taylor. Miguel Inigo Zara. We will now award the certificates in marine vertebrate biology. Freja Kalisha Moser. Summer Falkowski. Kiani Gordon. Kyle Gorman. Fallon Kaiser. Paola Kennedy. Summer Lamberecht. Samantha Layton. Jia Ying Liu. Declan Looney. Miranda McGuire. Annalise Montes. Kaylee Nielsen. Zoe Palomera. Rachel Tanaka. Lana Williams. Kai Wingert. And Emily Yanoa. We would now like to introduce Dr. David Taylor to award their certificates in coastal environmental studies. Kira Baez. Isabella Fraguada. Summer Looney. Jordan Thomas. We will now award their certificates in environmental design, policy, and planning. Elena Coop. Joseph Dolce. Bella Filibrosi. Anji Huang. Gunnar Johansson. Yamile Joseph. Lexi Lamoth Farwell. Frankie Lenteni. Chelsea Leong. Tammy Lee. Tiffany May. Logan Miller. Abik Nath. Jade Salas. Nicole Slavnova. Kate Strubar. Leandra Suarez. Matheus Zideb. Xinyan Zhao. We will now award their certificates in sustainability studies. A.J. Danraj. Sophia DeMont. Paul Felska. Derek Shao. Akshay Iliparambili. Lily Kishorvath. Caroline Rohde. Chase Sartori. Kristen Schupner. Sarah Thomas. And Norimi Truskanovsky. This concludes the awarding of the undergraduate certificates. Please welcome to the podium once again our Dean, Dr. Paul Shepson.
Oh, okay.
So I've just added it here for you.
Okay.
So, we'll now recognize degrees with distinction. Degrees with distinction are conferred on candidates for the Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science who have achieved academic excellence. So I will ask each of those so conferred who are cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude in order to stand, and at the end of that, we will applaud. So first, let's have all those recognized as cum laude with an overall GPA of 3.5 and above, please stand. You remind me of my students. Next, magna cum laude with a GPA of 3.7. Please stand. And last but not least, summa cum laude, 3.85 and above, please stand. just so I feel like I'm in control, let me say, what a great achievement. Let's give them all, again, a big round of applause. We're now going to move to the part of the program that recognizes the undergraduate research award winners. Undergraduate research is a big deal at SOMAS, and we want to recognize the award winners in that area. So the first student is Paul Felsky, whose mentor is Sharon Pakran, and Paul and Sharon, please come to the stage. So I neglected to announce the title of his project, which was The Effect of Tire Microplastics on Soybean and Earthworm Health. Way to go, Paul. I'll do better this time. The next one is Harrison Borer, whose mentor is Sharon Pakran. And the title of Harrison's project was Evaluating the Use of Azolla caroliniana Tissue for Composting by Measuring Temperature to Track Composting Progress. And you are done. You have one more? Oh, okay. The next is Faria Lauren, is that right? Who's Sharon is standing in for Marin Fruen. The title of Faria's project was Sediment Dating and Paleohydrology in the Kalahari Basin, Botswana. The next is Jia Ying Liu, whose advisor was Diana Padilla, and the title of Jia's, I hope I'm saying that right, project was Effects of Ocean Acidification on Growth Rates of Larvae of Blue Mussels from Multiple Populations Around Long Island Sound. The next is Akshay Ilaparambil. I'm sure I was close. His advisor was Adam Charbonneau, and the title of Akshay's project was The Weight of the Waste. Last but not least is Alexander Laporte, whose advisor was Brian Colley, and the title of the project is The Spatiotemporal Heterogeneity of Nocturnal Low-Level Wind Maxima in the Mid-Atlantic. Good job, everyone.
Please welcome to the podium Tom Wilson, SOMAS Class of 1983, to announce the winner of the Alumni Association Dean's Choice Award.
Well, good afternoon, graduates, family, friends. It's a great day for you. It is a great day for you. But I tell you, looking out at you, I'm getting a little choked up because you give me such hope for the future. This is the best day of the year for me. So thank you. Thank you for bringing your talent, your diversity, your enthusiasm, your commitment to the work of understanding and protecting our marvelous planet and all the life it nurtures. I wish for you all happiness and fulfillment in the pursuit of your chosen calling. The Dean's Choice Alumni Association Award is presented annually to an undergraduate student who combines high achievement with an ambitious academic path. Annabella Wiskovich is a climate science and environmental studies double major with a geospatial sciences minor. During her years at Stony Brook, Anna studied abroad in Tanzania, where she had the unforgettable experience of seeing one of her favorite animals, hippos, in the wild. Later, we have to trade hippo stories. Anna is graduating summa cum laude with a GPA of 3.89. After graduation, she will be working at the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. It gives me great pleasure to present the 2026 Dean's Choice Alumni Association Award to Annabella Wiskovich.
Dr. Brian Coley will now be presenting the Petra M. Udelhoffen Memorial Scholarship Award and Timothy Magnuson Memorial Scholarship.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to announce this year's Udelhoffen Memorial Scholarship, which was set up in honor of the late Petra Udelhoffen, who was a research assistant professor in atmospheric sciences in the early 2000s. This year's $1,000 award recipient goes to Kenneth Gregory. Congratulations, Kenny. The Timothy Magnuson Memorial Scholarship was graciously set up in honor of Tim's memory by his wife, Jessica Dubinsky, and her parents, Stephen and Candace Dubinsky. This year, the family has generously offered $9,000 to be split among two students. One of the awards goes to Brian Friedlander, who's a junior in atmospheric sciences. The other award for the senior is Juniper Chen, who's also a senior in atmospheric sciences. Unfortunately, she could not be here today, so let's still give her a round of applause. And yeah, congratulations to both of you. Thank you.
Dr. Oliver Shipley will now join the Dean as we award the Master of Arts in Marine Conservation and Policy certificates. Adrian Espinoza. Jacqueline Geller. Jack Cranes. Sarah Langsdorf. Catherine Mayo. Sydney Mantione. Marissa McKiernan. Grace Nelson. Victoria Panuccio. Julia Samuelson. Caitlin Sherman. Victoria Skobazinski. Jada Smith. Emma Stefanik. Lauren Tuffy. And Samantha Wilder. Please welcome Dr. Jackie Collier to the podium for the awarding of the Master of Science and Doctoral Certificates in Marine, Atmospheric, and Sustainability Studies.
All right, I was going to start with a crack about my academic path maybe not being the fastest way to a speaking role on the Stoller main stage. Okay, so I'm going to read all of our upcoming graduates. Not everyone is here, but it'll give everyone an idea of the range of topics that we have graduate students working on. So we'll start with Zachary Barnett, who's advised by Dr. Leslie Thorne. His thesis title, Bergmann's Rule Meets Climate Change, Latitudinal Patterns of Range Expansion and Morphology in Tamanen's Bottlenose Dolphin Under Rapid Ocean Warming. Next, we have Amala David, who is advised by Qing Xu. Professor Aller is going to stand in, as I understand. The thesis title is Developing an On-Off Carbon Nanodot Method for the Detection of Phosphate in Water. I think we don't have with us Dean Hernandez, whose advisor is Dr. Joseph Warren. His thesis is Unoccupied Aerial Methods, that's drones, people, of quantifying the surface schooling forage fish, Brevortia tyrannus, in nearshore waters of Long Island, New York. I also think we don't have with us Yantong Mei, whose advisor is Dr. Yang Chen. Her thesis title, Spatiotemporal Dynamics of Young-of-Year Winter Flounder in a Changing Hudson River Estuary. Next is Long Mean, advised by Dr. Jacqueline McSweeney. Her thesis title, Salinity Variability in Great South Bay, 2004 to 2024, evaluating the relative roles of a 10-year breach and external forcings. Next is Anthony Murphy Nielsen, advised by Dr. Bradley Peterson. Thesis title, Impact of Heat Regimes on Eelgrass, Zostera marina, Health and Labyrinthial Lesion Presence in Long Island's Great South Bay. And Dr. Peterson is staying in place because next is Lucy Plessis-Belair, also advised by Dr. Peterson. Thesis title, Assessing Biofiltration and Nutrient Sequestration by Eastern Oysters in Port Jefferson Harbor. The next graduate is also not with us today is Mara Reese, advised by Dr. Bassem Alam. Her thesis title, Impact of Bay Scallop Marosporidia Infection on Kidney Function in Argopectin irradians irradians. That's the bay scallop. Yeah. Next we have, Next we have Paige Tortorise, advised by Dr. Joseph Warren. Thesis title, Extreme Storm Events in the Gulf of Maine Disrupt Physical and Biological Water Column Processes. And last but not least, for our Master of Science graduates, Hanan Yazdi, advised by Dr. Roy Price. Her thesis title, Impacts of a Nearshore Wastewater Outfall on Carbonate Chemistry. Oh, and we have Dr. Henry Bukanevich standing in for Roy Price. Okay, next, the Doctor of Philosophy degrees, the ultimate academic achievement. First, Stephanie Arsenault, advised by Dr. Yang Chen. Population Dynamics of Bay Anchovy, Anchoa michelii, in a Changing Hudson River Estuary. I don't think Wen is with us today, but next would be Wen Kong, advised by Dr. Ching Shu. And oh, you are here, Wen. Okay. And Bob Aller as co-advisor, the development and applications of a planar optical sensor for studies of sedimentary diagenesis, O2 pH composite, ammonium, and calcium. Congratulations, Wen. Yay. Next, Jun Hyung In, advised by Dr. Marat Karutinov. This dissertation title, Corroborating Observational Evidence of Convective Self-Aggregation with High-Resolution Global Storm Resolving Models. Next, Aaron Leghart, advised by Dr. Brian Coley, dissertation title, The Climatology and Environmental Conditions for Vertical Shear and Turbulent Layers in Winter Precipitation Events. And next, Yue Ma, who is here with us. His advisors are Dr. Christopher Wolf and Kevin Reed. We have Professor Michael French standing in for them. Tropical cyclones and climate dynamics in idealized coupled climate models. Congratulations. All right, next, Julia Marcantonio, advised by Dr. John Mack. Dissertation title, Long-Term Observations of Volatile Organic Compounds and Biomass Burning Influences at the Urban-Rural Interface on Long Island, New York. Next would be Madison Mule, advised by Dr. Josie Aller and Bob Serrato. Dissertation, Life, History, and Trophic Dynamics of Lake Turkana's Fish, Insights from Contemporary and Deep Time. We have Josie standing in. Next we have Katrina Rokos, advised by Dr. Yang Chen. Dissertation title, Modeling Fish Community Dynamics in Changing Estuarine and Coastal Ecosystems in the Mid-Atlantic. Great. And I don't think we have Brittany with us. Brittany Scannell, advised by Dr. Bradley Peterson, a deep dive into the habitat use of local fish and shark species in New York State's artificial reefs. Yang don't go far, last but certainly not least, Cheyenne Yang, advised by Dr. Yang Chen. Her dissertation title, Developing an End-to-End Ecosystem Model to Inform Management of the Hudson River Estuary.
Well, now what do we do? We can celebrate. So it's time for tiny closing remarks. First, I want to thank all of the people who have worked hard to make this a great event. First and foremost, Caitlin Gilio and Ginny Clancy, and the many people like Christina, many people who have worked with them to organize this great event. Thank you all so much. It was excellent. Thank you. So after the event, we're going to all go outside for photographs with the graduates. So just outside the Stoller main entrance, you will get properly corralled and then released. So congratulations to all of you, and thanks so much for being part of the SOMAS family. We are honored to have had the opportunity to get to know all of you and work with you. Great job.